Hey guys, you are watching Aurora's vlog. Today I will be sharing with you guys reasons for marriages between Filipinos and foreigners. But before we continue, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell button so you can keep up to date of my latest video uploads. Marriages between Filipinos and foreigners are becoming increasingly more common. It is not unheard of for women living in countries with a lower standard of living to actively look for a husband abroad, but Filipino brides seem to have a reputation with that. Many local and international media outlets have recognized this phenomenon, referring to various sociological studies in their articles and news reports that prove an increased interest of Filipino girls in marrying foreign men as well as the other way around. Questions: why do Filipinos marry foreigners? Financial gain is often mentioned among the reasons for Filipinos to marry a foreigner. Many families are struggling to make the ends meet on the occasional jobs and limited salaries that they get. Work opportunities are also very limited, especially for young women. They would welcome any chance to enjoy a wealthier life if it would mean that they'd have to marry a foreigner. Most Filipinos would also be quite happy about it because having a foreign husband is often perceived as a status of symbol. Young Filipinos and foreigners who walked through the streets of Philippines holding each other's hands are sure to get looks of envy from local girls, or at least that seems to be the common perception there. Marrying a foreigner husband is often encouraged by parents who often act as matchmakers in hopes that their daughters will fare better overseas. In the eyes of Filipino women, Western countries like the United States are the landmark of wealth and success. The existence of that image can be attributed to Hollywood films and media influence. Girls who are indifferent to love stories played out on TV by local Filipino actors can be mesmerized by the romance depicted in the latest Hollywood movie. It makes foreign men much more desirable in their eyes, and falling in love to live with a Westerner becomes their dream. Many girls blindly believe that life in US and other Western countries will simply be better than their current lives in the Philippines and cling onto any chance they get to make their dream come true. However, the reality is often not the way they imagine. As the saying goes, the grass always seems greener on the other side of the fence. And this is perfect example. However, not all Filipino women are gold diggers who expect to have an easy ride abroad, or young naive girls who don't know any better. Sometimes they are just simply looking for opportunities that are not available to them in their home country. Philippines has many poor regions with few prospects for young women to find jobs. They also have hard times getting good education unless they are lucky enough to be born in a wealthy family. Countries such as United States can provide much better prospects for well-paid employment and education to Filipinos, and foreigners whom they marry may promise them to help with those things. But the bad economy of Philippines can't be responsible for why American men in particular are so popular as potential husbands among Filipino women. This part can be explained by the country's colonial past. After all, it was the Americans who supposedly freed the country from the Spanish. Thanks to that, Westerners became imprinted into the minds of local men and women as people who brought advanced technology, fashionable clothing, luxurious food, fancy drinks, and good education. This created a belief that Americans are all intelligent, educated, and wealthy, which was spread by parents to their children and seems to persist in the country's modern culture. American men caught onto this trend and have started to actively seek out potential wives from Philippines. Marriages between Filipinos and foreigners became common occurrence a long time ago, but their popularity increased dramatically after the widespread use of internet for online dating and matchmaking. There are even specialized websites that offer Western men to find Filipino brides, and they seem to be getting a lot of business. This begs the questions: what do American men and foreigners find so attractive in the prospect of marrying a girl from the Philippines? Now, why do foreigners marry Filipinas? Westerners who enjoy the companionship of a younger woman know that they are more likely to attract girls from the Philippines and choose online dating website to find a Filipino bride. As several studies have confirmed, a common marriage between Filipinas and foreigners is one where the woman is much younger than the man she marries. The age difference can be as high as 40 years in some cases. Unlike most Western girls, Filipinos are eager to marry at a much younger age. Marriage is natural consequence of relationship for most girls in the Philippines. Many Western women do not share the same conviction, causing some men to consider the prospect of finding a potential wife in the Philippines. Foreigners may also expect to find some more traditional values there. Some Western men may consider Filipinas to be lower maintenance than women at their home country. While their income may be considered quite average by Western standards, they are more likely to be able to impress a girl from the Philippines. In fact, some Filipinas are so desperate to marry a foreigner that they will overlook some of their future husbands' most glaring flaws. The scenario mentioned here is especially likely in the event of several consecutive failed relationships or painful divorce, which has persuaded the man that he may not find a match for himself in his home country. Finally, there is a belief shared by many Western men that Filipino women are very passionate and will greatly enhance their love life. Regardless of whether that stereotype has anything to do with reality, it can often be listed among the reasons why Filipinas and foreigners marry. Filipinas and foreigners who can find love thousands of miles away from their home truly deserve their happy ending. But it's not always the case. While the reasons described in this subject may be perfectly valid and justified, those reasons alone can't make a solid foundation for a healthy relationship. Whether it's a young Filipino girl who wants to support her family through her husband's wealth, or an older American man who is looking for a passionate wife to end his loneliness, they won't be happy together unless there's something else there to hold their marriage together. Do you think it's true that Filipinas have a reputation of desperately trying to marry a foreigner? If it is, can they find the happiness that they are seeking, or does it always end in disappointment? If you have any questions or comments or want to share your experience, please share them down below, put them on the comments, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And thank you for following. Also, if you like this, please don't forget to share. Thank you for watching our vlog. Bye.